First and foremost, I was born in Jamaica. Um, my dad's Nigerian. We wasn't in poverty, right? But I did experience some sort of hardship growing up. Just lack of certain things. As a result, I was able to see the entrepreneurial side of my mother because she's a tailor, she's a dressmaker. And what she done was she started making lab coats for hospitals, and then she will pay me and my little cousin to iron the lab coats, fold them, and put them in the bags and stuff like that. So that there in itself, right, taught me that go get an entrepreneurial mindset spirit. So even though there is times when things wasn't going according to plan as one would like it to, we was able to overcome it just because of those hard work and those you know attributes that was instilled in us from a very young age. Um, my grandfather, he was in the military in Jamaica. Um, I didn't know my dad after about a few years, so he took over the role of being my father. Plus, I was his first grandson, and to an extent, some would say that I was spoiled because I was the only child in the neighborhood that was doing computer lessons and things like that. So also, I think that actually contributed towards my career path now, which is recording engineer and a producer. So it's giving me that technical service skills to an extent. I migrated to England in 1999. Yeah, 11 days before my 10 days before my 11th birthday. Lived in my family, mother, aunties, and so forth for a few years, and then to be able to get our own place. And then fast forwarding, I just got caught up in the streets to an extent, right? And then as a result, mother said to me, if she purchased this computer for me, which is at that time was a gaming PC, cost around £3,000 custom built. She said she would give me this computer to put it into my bedroom, and she'd allow me to have my friends to come over as long as I promised her that I would stay off the roads. And that's how I was able to hone my skills in the entertainment side of things. So, recording, engineering, producing, and also developing certain artists that are quite big in the game now actually, because we all started out together, developing each other's talent and skills. One and wishes the other. See my mother entrepreneurial skills mindset, that go getter you know attitude, right? That's definitely had a positive impact on me. Also, my grandfather sending me to computer lessons and stuff like that. I mean, in Jamaica at that time it was $800 a month, right? So at that time it was a big man. Those were the time when my auntie would send £5 in my birthday card, and that would serve a long time. Yeah. So those two memories, more than anything else, I reckon set the foundation for the man that I am today, and for the career path that I've chosen. Even though I've deviated from it quite a bit. Yeah, the environment I grew up in Jamaica, and seeing certain type of things, and you know misconception of cool and what's not cool, and yeah, and just being accepted in certain environments, that also played a key role into the self-destructive behavior that I adopted eventually. Being boisterous as I was, um, and then you know, the way you grew up tough to an extent, right? And then growing up in a house full of women and with my aunties and stuff like that, he has that thick skin. He can't be a little weak. He can't be weak. I mean, they'll run some jokes with you, bro. Yeah. And if you haven't got that thick skin, bro, yeah, you weak out. And then that would be the worst thing to do, because then they would even take it even further. To take it even further, I've got cousins that would never come around to our house again for visits or holidays just because of the joke that the my mom and my aunties will run with them. For example, I'll give you one example. Um, my uncle's nephew came down from Clarendon, and then when he walked into the house, my mom looked around and said, "Ratty boy, eh, oh yeah boy look like Junker draw breaks in I'm head, sir." Man, and he's old enough to understand that, but he didn't find it funny, because everyone started laughing at that time. So he didn't find the humor in it. And you know what a jankro is, right? Well, a jankro is like another version of a scavenger bird. And then for that, then they say the jankro landed on Joe Breaks and he said, pull out his hair. So that's why there was a bow patch in it. But he didn't find the humor in it. That's just one example, yeah. So you have to have a bit of thick skin. It was embedded in my subconscious from an early age because growing up in Jamaica and growing up in the neighborhood that I was brought up in, yes, I was very sheltered because I came from a Christian background, but at the same time, it didn't prevent me from seeing and experiencing a lot of things that I did experience. So as a result of that, me coming over to England and some of these guys like trying certain things, playing certain games or doing certain things, it wouldn't phase me, so to speak. So my reaction sometimes, if a guy's bigger than me, taller than me, I'll conk them in the forehead and stuff like that, you know. So that in itself now forced them to label me a certain type of way, and then put me in a certain type of category in a certain type of group, and then as a result of that now it never really like helped my growth or for me to eradicate that type of like mindset or those experiences, those memories. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of enjoy the violence. I was a bully's bully. you know. So when I see someone bullying someone that's weaker than them, or they taking advantage of someone just because they can and they can't respond or anything like that, or because they got more strength or more bagatives than that particular person's, right? That would really like get under my skin and it aggravate me. So then I will bully that person as a result of that because I know the bagative that I had, and even if I didn't, right, as a child, I was very like wham, well built, well fed, yam and banana, yeah, I know all these things, so I was very like strong. So I'll take them on, and I'll enjoy taking them on in that violent way, so to speak, right, just to teach them a lesson, and then allowing those other children to watch that was being bullied, to let them know that there was some like hope, and there's people out there that's willing to stand by their side, and that they don't ever feel like that they have to compromise themselves to be something else that they're not. They can be them, and they will be looked after, they will be protected. My mom, my aunties and all of that, they were very loving, caring, but they were cold as ice. They could be so savage. They could be so cold, right, and blunt, just by the way that they respond to certain situation, right? That may have like they may have underestimated the impact that it had on me. Yeah, so yeah, probably those are one of the attributes, one of the things, and I would say the effects of that was I started to bottle up things a lot more. So I would try to conceal my emotion or conceal the way that it affected me and my reaction. Yeah, which later on in life it had more of a detrimental impact on me than a positive one, because when it did explode and it just all got on top, Like it was an extreme behavior. You see, 6 months ago, I was in denial, right? And I probably would have answered this question in a deluded way. However, for me to experience this experience that I'm experiencing and embrace it and immerse myself fully in it so that I can grasp whatever it is that I'm meant to from this, I have to be totally and 100% with myself. And right now, I'm at ground zero. I'm at ground zero. That's where I'm at right now. I'm at ground zero. Like, I lost everything that I worked hard to build for over a decade and a half. I lost it all. And that was based on one moment of lack of composure, losing my cool. And that only happened because I felt like I was on top of the world. Everything that I set my mind to, I was starting to accomplish, I was achieving. I started getting a lot of bad mind fight, jealousy. I put myself in a lot of predicaments as well, where I was flossing, I was hyping, right, from the money I was making and stuff like that. And then I made a wrong move, and then I ended up getting stabbed in my face and getting stabbed in my eye. And then my events started getting cancelled because police were saying, well, due to the intelligence, there's threats to my life and stuff like that. And then so he had a spiral downhill after that. And then I think the icing on the cake was when me and my ex-partner split in 2021. Yeah, my ex-fiance. Yeah, when we split in 2021. And then she pulled a crazy stunt where she tried to take out a non-molestation order against me, and then everything that she put in the non-molestation order was a lie. And at the bottom of the non-molestation order, it says there's nothing in here that has been proven as facts. They're just going off what the person said. And because she's a woman, right? So they took her side, and then she just wanted to get she wanted to get moved to a different property or the area and whatever you. And then as a result, I haven't seen my children for almost 3 years and stuff like that. And then my little princess, my daughter, she had a brain tumor, and then she had to have an operation for over 13 hours and stuff like that. And then these days it's just been very difficult and things like that, you know. And then on top of it, things that I did in the past were starting to catch up. It was starting to catch up with me now. So and then not being in the right frame of mind as well. And these times I was I I was I was drinking alcohol way out of control. And the choice of alcohol at that time as well didn't make it any better. It was rare nephew. So 63% overproof, right? And then on top of it, smoking herbs. Everybody's addicted to something. Yeah. So and this is one of the humbling process one of the humbling facts that I had to process during this experience, right? Because I cannot be snobby and look down at someone as I previously did because they may have taken cocaine or crack or whatever or heroin, right? And I feel like I'm better because I'm only addicted to weed and Ray Nephew. You get where I'm coming from? Yeah. So that just brought one back down to earth, right? Um, Me becoming addiction to class A drugs, right? That was a coping mechanism. And I'll be quite blunt and I'll be quite frank. If I didn't do that, people would have been dead. Um, it was cocaine first. Yeah. Actually, no. It was Rain a few and weed. Yeah. Cookie, Star Dog, then gelato and so forth. Then it but as things get more extreme, and then I have to isolate myself from what have you, yeah, it turned to crack, right? And then one started dabbling into heroin to balance out the crack to come down a bit. You know where I'm coming from. But now I made a conscious decision that I cannot continue to live like this, right? And then I was listening to a, a, um a sermon on the God Channel by Charles Stanley, right? And then he said that most New Year's resolutions failed within 90 days, right? Because it's based on willpower alone. Yes. So immediately that had an impact on me. So I decided, you know what? Well, I'm not doing act of willpower alone because I've been trying to act of willpower alone. I ain't getting me nowhere, right? So then I went and visited CGL, Change Grow Live, and then the service that they provide, I must say, it is absolutely amazing, right? And then they encouraged me to get on the script as well. So once I go into the script, there's this proof, something like that, and put it on your tongue or whatever you. So all of those symptoms I was feeling in the morning, that we can't move, can't get up, and sick, and all of that was eradicated. And then he just gave me a new lease on life. And I'm just very thankful, grateful, and to God, right, for that opportunity and giving me the strength and the courage to make that step. And now, as a result of all of those, you know, changes that I wanted to make and I needed to make so that I can now excel and move forward in my life, right? I'm not able to sit here with someone like you, yeah, telling my story. Well, nowadays, my typical days, yeah, I'll start the morning by getting the script, right? And then stop procrastinating. So start sorting out everything that needs to be sorted out. Get all my paperwork done. We start rebuilding my credit rating. Stuff like that. Starting to rebuild relationships with my family because during the duration of the process of me, I'm taking drugs to the level that I was. Right, it was embarrassing. It was shameful. So I isolate myself from my friends. I isolate myself from my family. Right, I'll be absent at family barbecues or annual camping trips and stuff like that. So now I'm making a conscious effort now to make sure that I am present with my family, appreciate every single moment that I have with them, right? And because being with them, around them, their support, their love, and their admiration for me, right? To be able to stand up and do this, considering what I've suffered or experienced, and there's nothing that they could really do about it other than encourage me and say, yo, you need to go find God. Well, my head is a lot cooler. It's not as hot as it used to be. I'm a lot more humbled, right? And I appreciate life more. I appreciate people more. I don't judge people by just how they how I see them or by someone else's opinion. In fact, I rather apply my own critical analysis so I'm able to come to my own informed conclusion, right? Because if someone's experience with that person might not necessarily be my experience with that person, right? And you might be a prick, and I'm not. You know where I'm coming from, right? So I try my best. So I try my best to make sure, say, I'm a lot more reserved and laid back and apply a little bit of common courtesy to the individual, you know. So, and and this has been a very humbling process as well. And I also never underestimate anyone. Listen to your parents, your grandparents, and the elders when they speak to you, when they give you certain type of advice. Don't be ignorant. to the fact because you don't know it all. And there's one thing that my grandmother and my mother used to say to me growing up. Yeah, time goes fast. So enjoy every moment that you have and appreciate it and don't waste it. Because yesterday I was 10. As a blink, I'm 36. No matter how many times you fall, right? It's not about the fall, it's how you rise. Don't stay down. Don't stay down. You know? Don't stay down. And remember, you can't do this on your own. You understand? You have to give God the glory and the praise all the time and ask Him for His mercy and His guidance and His strength. You understand? To help you through the valley of the shadow of death. You understand? So that you can fear no evil. Because thou art with us. If you don't really want to know that question, follow the journey. Stay tuned. And we're gonna keep it documented all the way. And it's gonna be uncut. You know, you're not going to try to pretty up anything, not just gonna try to pretend to be something that one's not, or pretend to be coping when one is not coping. You know, we're gonna give it to you raw, we're gonna let you see it blunt, right? So that you can be that wiser one.